Welcome to Toy Business Unboxed, your gateway to the secrets of the toy industry. Here, Jason Shea, a toy entrepreneur and expert in the field.
Every product we develop is really inspired by some of the real life experience that we have with our son.
60% of all toys last year were sold on Amazon, which is incredible.
Be passionate about it because it's a road, it's a journey.
It's like when you have an idea that you think is like gonna somewhat like change the world, make things better, I'd say go for it.
We'll guide you through the enchanting world of toy design, marketing, and manufacturing. Now let the unboxing begin.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Toy Business Unboxed. I'm your host, Jason Shea, and today we're diving into the world of musical education with a very unique twist, using color to teach and inspire creativity. Our guest, Michael, today is an award-winning composer, musician, and educator who have developed Musical Color, a visual music color system that helps learners of all ages understand music theories and play instruments with ease. And Michael's journey started with University of Arizona that led him to developing a system of making learning music more fun. And today's interview we'll be talking about how he, with his company, trying to bridge the toy and the music education industry together. Thank you for joining me on today's podcast episode.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm really excited to be here, Jason.
What inspired you to create Musical Color to begin with?
Yeah, so I come from a family of engineers, world-class engineers and artists. So we're very creative people. And when I went into college, I started off engineering because of the family pressures and whatnot. And I did about 2 years of engineering at BSU. And I really enjoyed it. But the more and more I saw down the road, I got disillusioned with where I was going. And at the same time, I was also seeing a lot of other students carrying their guitars around. And I was like, that's what I wanted. I want to carry my guitar around. I took a little sabbatical. I restructured my approach. I switched my majors. And I did about half a year at ASU in guitar performance. And I really enjoyed that. It was a creative outlet for me, and it was more in line with where I was going. And I took a little time off, and I was thinking to myself, is this something I really want to do? It's going to be completely different. My family wasn't too happy about it because I was supposed to go down and take over the family business. And so I got a lot of flack from my grandfather, but they came around eventually. So at some point, I realized that the U of A had a really awesome guitar performance program. And I heard that it was like one of the best in the country. So I was like, man, I got a U of A. And secretly, I was also chasing a girl. So that didn't work out. But I discovered some really amazing things about myself. It was learning music. I was playing music. I was playing guitar. It was my passion. It was what I wanted to do. And then at some point, about a year and a half or 2 years into it, I started to get disillusioned again because I was hearing all these things about, you're going to have to practice like 10 hours a day and to even be a guitarist, a performer. And I thought, man, I can't do that. I got my hands in too many baskets. I love to do a bunch of different things. I was getting a little disillusioned. And as I was getting into upper divisional courses, I just realized, you know what? It just hit me overnight. I'm going to be an engineer of sounds. And so I switched in a company.
Yeah.
And I was able to marry those two sides of my family together and those kind of two genetic dispositions that I had. And I went into competition and it was great. I loved it. And then as it progressed, I got in my third year, things started really getting serious. I'm not a classically trained performer or musician. And I started I found myself in jazz improv class that I was taking, and I was falling out of key. And people were looking at me funny. And I was also composing a lot on my guitar. And I'd be playing wild, different chords that just sounded so amazing and sonorous, had open voicings, and they were just really complex chords. And I was having a really hard time, like, how do I write these down and go to charts and in books and things like that? So I thought to myself, wow, what if there was just some visual cue on my guitar that told me exactly what I was playing? It would solve both of those problems. And that's exactly what I did. I started cutting out construction paper and tape, colored construction paper, and taping it to my guitar. And I came in, musicianship improved significantly. And I was able to immediately start writing down what I was playing because I could look down and see exactly what I was playing. Then I could write it on the staff. And so immediately it solved a bottom up problem and a top down problem.
And for the listener that's listening to today's episode, I also have the website pulled out on the screen. So if you want to see what the product we are talking about and discussing on today's episode, feel free to watch it on our YouTube channel. Then you can see the actual product that we are talking about.
So it inspired that part of me, and my teachers were amazed. Of course, some of them thought it was really weird. The traditionalists were saying things like, so what, are we going to play in the key of purple now? And the creative, I was trying to solve a problem that I was having in college. Now, mind you, this did lead to further developments in understanding music for me personally and uncovering deep secrets, which has helped me with children, which has helped me with my composition, and I've even had notoriety. I was able to take third place in an international composition competition in Tokyo, Japan, the Toru Takamitsu orchestral composition competition in 2002. And my life has just been really awesome since then.
Oh, nice. And since we're talking about the musical color and how you can potentially help kids or adults to learn the music faster, based on your experience, compared to a traditional kind of instruction model, how much faster does having the color on the instrument itself really help?
It helps everybody tremendously, but especially children, because children love color. They can't keep their hands off it. They got to touch it. They got to feel it. They got to reach out and touch the colors that they're seeing. Plus, it's a natural thing that they're already familiar with. So it's like a language they already understand. You don't need to teach it. That's basically what happens. So kids would immediately start grabbing an instrument that has color over the exact same instrument that doesn't. And it's very ominous for children at the beginning. They look at them, they see some adult playing them, and they're like, wow, this is blowing my mind. It's amazing. But I have no idea how to approach this thing. Big learning curve. We're just getting the child to even just hold it or want to hold an instrument.
I know you have many different systems. So besides the stickers, what else is come within the product if people purchase?
After I started learning all this stuff, I realized that the pedagogical possibilities for this simple system was really endless and profound. And so I started creating a bunch of different types of resources where you could see scales and see chords immediately. And most people learn a chord. They learn it in first position. They learn it through pictures, and they learn it down here, a G, a C. Yeah. But if you see the colors that you're playing, all of a sudden your brain starts to grasp other patterns. You see the patterns, and you can see them everywhere on your neck. And you're like, wow, I can play that here, and I can play it here, and I can play it here in an upper register. Or can I play them like this? Upside down? Yeah, that's called an inversion. So you start, it's really a bridge way to help them learn more complex things about music.
Yeah, and you have it for a lot of different instruments too, right? Not just guitar. I see you on the website, you have ukulele and a whole bunch of other instruments as well.
Yeah, and they're all custom designed. It took me a long time to find the right sticker because very demanding need for what the sticker has to be able to do. I didn't want them to break down because there's a lot of rubbing that happens on these stickers. So luckily I was able to find a manufacturer here in the United States that not only makes them for me, but all the materials are actually made here in the United States too, which keeps costs down, and it's been really great. So as technology has gotten better and better, the solutions has just been easier and easier to solve.
Do you also think the musical color is helpful for kids with special needs as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Kids with special needs, they may not be very good verbal communicators, but it doesn't mean they're not thinking like regular kids. They're still having thoughts in their mind. They're still having epiphanies. They're still seeing things, and they want to express themselves. So color is something that's natural in the world. Like I was saying earlier, it's a language you don't even really have to teach. It's something that kids have learned since they were born just by looking at the world around them. Of course, they want to reach out and touch it. So the concept of connecting sounds to colors is a really great way to get them to understand those two things. But it's also scientifically based because the proportions of how color is laid out on the spectrum and how music is laid out, they overlap. So that was one thing that I really studied for a long time to see how they're correlated, because I'm interested in creating a universal coding system that is accepted worldwide.
Okay.
And throughout history, there's been so many approaches, and I'm not the first. We've been doing it since Sumeria, Chinese. Many cultures have had color coding systems, but for the most part, it's been arbitrary because synesthesia, kids with special needs, sometimes a lot of them are synesthetic and they hear color or they see music. And this just offers a new way for them to approach it. It just gives teachers a tool so that they can actually reach these kids. And a lot of these instances, I see some of these kids accelerate other normal verbal kids because they're so highly intelligent and so desperate to communicate.
How do you think toys and music education can work together, and how do we use toys to educate kids about music more as well?
I'm sure that your audience has seen many toys that have sounds or play music. I mean, what toy is not colorful, right? It's all about attracting the child, bringing the child to it so that they can reach out, grab it, touch it, play with it, and you can learn things through them about that. So there's in essence, musical instruments are toys as professional musicians, but we use them to have fun. That's really the reason why we play music. You got to remember that music is not a noun. Music is a verb. That's something that if you can switch that somehow and provide a tool for people to be able to do something in time, in the moment, especially with other people, develop social skills, soft skills, your ability to express yourself, it creates a lot of harm.
I see. And I also want to talk a little bit about the business aspect of your current business, selling the wonderful product you have. Have you tried to get into some music store as well? And how's that going? What kind of reception are you getting from the music store owner?
10 years ago when I was trying to do it, I was walking through the doors and I was getting a lot of pushback or a lot of, hey, you need to talk to this person, and they would never call me back. But lately there's been a real hunger for this type of thing. In fact, I just sent over a whole suite of musical color stickers to a guy in Rafael in Germany who runs Fretlook. And he has stickers that you apply to your guitar, but it's more to make the guitar look cooler. It's not a utilitarian thing. It can slightly be just to show you where the frets are. That's why these little dots are on the frets, because it helps guitarists know where they are. Right? Okay. It doesn't show you every single note. So he's really excited. There was another group that they weren't interested. And I was like, hey, I'm going to work with the people who are enthusiastic about this. So he's really excited to see them. He asked a lot of questions about the stickers and what they're made out of and stuff. So obviously he's gone through the same process I've gone through. We need a product that will stand the test of time when it's on the instrument. Thing is, I have a meeting scheduled with lead guitar.
Okay.
Yeah, lead guitar. And I just saw something on Facebook and I saw some kid and he was a special needs kid, Zach, and his mother's just lit up with everything that he's doing and how his social interaction is improving, and he's slightly autistic. And so I reached out to them and I said, and it turns out they're right down the street. So
really
nationwide, but they have it's literally like 2 blocks away from me. So I reached out to them and I said, hey man, maybe synergy here. Maybe I can help you and help you program. Hard obstacle be convincing the traditionalists that this is not a crutch. This is a tool that's going to open up their creativity. Because if it's a crutch, how did I end up taking third in an international competition? So I'm very much speaking with them and donating some stickers and maybe doing a showcase. We'll see what happens.
I see. So that's the offline channel. How about online channel like Amazon? How is that going for you so far?
I started the process, but I haven't gone through it the whole way. There's a big learning curve there. Right now, I'm really focused on developing my curriculum and a mastermind club. There's so many struggling musicians out there, retirees, folks who are stuck, who love to play the guitar, but every time they go play the guitar, they find themselves playing the same thing over and over again. So there's I just compiled, I did a big poll on Facebook to find out who. I asked them, hey, what are you most afraid of when playing the guitar? And I got an incredible response. It's been a lot of fun. I've learned a lot. Of course, a lot of people don't have fear, and a lot of people do. So then there's all these different reasons. So one of my approaches right now is to helping these people realize that there's a different way to solve this problem, and to get inspired and to see new patterns. A lot of times guitarists learn things the same way. They look at the picture. Oh, this is how you play. It's how you play that chord. But they don't learn the nuance of how chords are structured so that they can be creative in their own way. Not everybody's hand is the same. Some are skinny, some are fat, some are short, some are long fingers. Some people like playing up here, some people like playing down here. But this way they can know what they're playing or what's being asked.
What is your vision for the future of musical color and musical education in general?
Other than creating a universal standard, scientifically rated, mathematically related between sound and color, one of my big dreams is to travel around the country and go and transform existing music classrooms and educate the music teachers and give them curriculums and tools. So, that they say something like, hey, kids, on Monday, when you guys come in, everything's going to be completely different. I got a surprise for you. And then the kids are like, oh, well, I heard it was something with colors. Oh, and stickers too. And stickers. Oh my gosh. Kids lose their mind over stickers. So this is just a marriage made in heaven. So that's one of my big dreams, come in and transform existing curriculums, existing classrooms, empower teachers and kids to make music together. Kids will be more attentive. Kids will be able to make music together. Kids will have epiphanies. There's the parallels with science. So as they're learning music, they're learning science as well. So there's just a lot of possibilities there.
Besides the product itself, when I was visiting your website, I think you also provide some educations and other things for the teacher. Can you also talk about the other thing you do besides the musical that you have?
We all know the technological world is really wreaking havoc on our kids in a lot of ways because they're not learning soft skills. And kids, in order to learn, they have to touch, they have to be tactile. When I was in China, I went over there and I ran a kindergarten department there at a bilingual school that was English immersive. And those kids were doing third grade math. I was so incredibly impressed with what they were doing over there, but there was a language barrier. And so when I brought out my guitar and with colors, it was just like they immediately understood. I was using these bells.
Whoa, okay, I like that.
And of course, kids see bells, they go absolutely bonkers. They're like, they have to touch them, and it just gets their attention immediately. You don't even say, hey, sit down. They all come and sit down on their own. They're all so curious. And then you have to like mix them up. What's this? Who can come and fix this? And they just immediately know, oh, they run up and they try to put them in the order. And so that's they come up and I'll say, okay, play them. And and the whole class will laugh. And they'll say, oh, who can fix it? And somebody will come up and they'll be like, oh, okay. Yeah. And they'll keep going. And system, it's great because it's very simple. The kids love to touch things and interact with things, but I can also teach a lot of complex ideas about music, interval, melody making. And what's also interesting, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. What do you notice about green? Green is the center of the rainbow. Green also happens to be the center of music. So that's tying in the whole mathematical, scientific side of things and why I believe that C is green and D is blue and G is red and so on.
I see. I love that way. You must be a very entertaining teacher for sure.
They called me Mr. Chico over there and it was great. I'm really only 4 years old.
How long do you taught in China?
I taught there for a year with my wife. She ran the kindergarten or the preschool department. I ran the kindergarten department and we had teachers underneath us. It was totally immersive. And yeah, I learned a lot.
Nice. Do you learn some Chinese while you're there?
My wife, it was interesting. My wife could understand, but I could speak. So we worked together well. And I think that's a pretty good match. So she would listen to somebody say, I'd say, what did he say? Oh, he's saying this and that. And I'd be like, oh, okay, I know how to say that. And she didn't know what to say. It seemed very constructive to how our brains were working.
Oh, but your wife is American or is she Chinese?
My wife is Japanese. She's 1/4 Japanese. Actually, half Japanese. My children are 1/4 Japanese. And Oba-chan is from Osaka.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And Grandpa, Oji-chan, passed away about 6 years ago.
Okay.
And we're in the neighborhood, and it's been really great. She's a wonderful person.
I see. So you also speak Japanese too, right? A little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
not really. Not really. I just know a little bit things. I'm a parrot, so I can imitate things very well. So
Like I think I mentioned to you before the interview, I speak Chinese and Japanese fluently as well. English is my third language.
Maybe you can teach me more than my.
That's very interesting background. Because of your experience in China, how you say like of course, the education environment is very different. And I'm also pretty sure the concept around musical education, I feel like a lot of the Asian culture doesn't put music as like a emphasis. It's always math, science, English, of course, languages. But I feel like music is also like you can learn some English music, but it's not going to make you any money. So let's go study.
So if you learn music, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to be the best. This is very serious, and the kids are under a lot of pressure. I had a kid over there that was having a really hard time relating with lots of the children. And of course, all the children over there get American names. So there's Happy and Flower and Sunshine and Michael. So Michael, interestingly enough, was having a hard time interacting with kids. And I said, "What's wrong? Why aren't you playing with the kids?" And he says, "I don't want to play with the kids." I said, "Why? What's going on at home?" And he said, "Oh, my father says I have to go to Harvard. The kid's in kindergarten and his dad is telling me." Well, I wrote his parents and I told him, "Hey, man, you just got to let this kid be a kid, all in due time." And they were so grateful, and they still send me correspondence. And I've watched Mike grow up into a young man. There are some cultural differences for sure, and they're ahead in a lot of ways, but behind in a lot of ways too.
Yeah.
But music cuts through all of that. Music is universal. Color is universal. It's a universal language. So I was able to connect with the kids like that very quickly. And we would play games. I would make up things in the moment with the bells. I would take my guitar and I'd be like, "Okay, I'm going to play a note." And they would be looking at me and I'd have to run to the part of the classroom where the bell was hidden. And I would make up things with them. And that's such an important part of teaching with music, with toys, really.
For sure.
You have to get on their level.
Yeah, definitely very different. So, Michael, thank you so much for the interview today. It's very insightful, and thank you for sharing all the different aspects and also your experience overseas and teaching kids in China for music. So, for the audience that would like to learn a little bit more about what you do and your companies, where can they find you?
So you can find me at musicalcolors.com. Learn a lot about everything that's there. The stickers that you put on your guitar and upgrading your instrument, I call it, it's really just a buy-in. Everything else on the website is geared to teach you once you have the stickers on your instrument. So there's a section where you can go and learn all scales around the world. There's 60, 70 scales. They're all different. The chords. Right now, they're just all in C. But once you learn the patterns, you can move them anywhere on guitars. But it's growing, and in the future, want to have an app and whatnot. But there's so many possibilities, and also a lot of possibilities to work with other companies as well who are already in this wheelhouse. But yeah, musicalcolors.com. Come and check me out. And if you want to learn a little bit about me and my background, or listen to some of the music that I've composed, the awards that I've had, I got a commission maybe a little over 10 years ago to write a requiem. And it took me 7 years to do it. And it's for full orchestra, grand choir, mariachi.
Okay. Nice.
And solo soprano and tenor. It's basically a requiem for folks dying on the border. So also show economic themes aside, just a humanitarian statement. But you can find that at Michael Wiley or michaeljohnwiley.com.
I see. Thank you for sharing all that. So for the listener, thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Toy Business Unboxed podcast. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and find it insightful and inspiring. If you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. We really appreciate your support and we love it if you can leave us a review and share the podcast with your friends and families, and also check out Michael's awesome guitar over there. And for more resources and tips on the latest update in the toy industry, please visit our website at toy-launch.com. Join the conversation and connect with us on social media using hashtag #ToyBusinessUnbox. We'd love to hear your feedback and suggestions for future episodes. Until next time, keep innovating, keep creating, keep bringing joys to toys. This is Jason Shea signing off on Toy Business Unbox podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much, everyone.